Welcome to the Ref Room, hockey talk for referees, coaches, players, and fans.
Broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
With your hosts, Smokin, Silz, and Baumruck.
Live.
The Ref Room starts right now.
And now your host.
It is Wednesday, and that means it's peanut butter and jelly day for Baumruck. Right there, everybody. Watch him enjoy a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Welcome to the Ref Room, everybody. I am Smokin Silz, joined by the peanut butter and jelly loving man himself, Baumruck, and we are here to talk about some hockey. I can't believe the season is winding down. This is like the last official week. I mean, there are still some games out there. The last official week of like youth hockey for this season. And it went fast. That's all I can say. But we're going to cover a few things today. And we're going to talk about some of this because I know a lot of us have worked a lot of games and we're a little bit tired. So that's something we want to talk about as well. We usually like to lead it off with something from the NHL. So the big news in the NHL, Gretzky, the great one, he's out at Edmonton.
Stepping away.
Yeah.
They've come into the playoffs quite a few times and gotten eliminated quite a few times. So maybe they just need a little change. And
I don't know. Edmonton has had so many great draft picks, so much talent or supposed talent come through the door, yet they just can't seem to get it together. I mean, on paper, they always look great. And I thought, well, I'm sure they thought Gretzky was going to get it done for him, but I'm not sure he'll be back in the front office anywhere. I mean, he hasn't had a lot of success at that. And just because you're a great player doesn't mean you're, the best front office person, I guess. We'll see. I mean, he's been awesome for hockey all these years. He's a wonderful guy, and he's got every record in the book, basically. But he hasn't won a Stanley Cup as a general manager or president or whatever his official title is of running the organization. And,
well, it goes to show you, Scott, how difficult it is to win in the NHL.
Yeah.
And there's always upsets. I mean, 4 games, who would have expected that they would lose the series in 4 games? Like, that wasn't even they weren't even in the fight except for, the last game, and they lose in double overtime, which
exactly
was amazing because I went to bed and I thought they'd won because I thought, I'm like, oh, they're going to win this at the end. I'm like, okay. And then I go to bed and I wake up and I'm like, oh, they lost. I'm like, okay, well, that's interesting. So, but it's a lot of pieces.
The fact that the Hawks won 3 Stanley Cups in that short period of time is absolutely a miracle. I mean, and I don't mean it like a miracle, like, wow, it happened, but I mean, how difficult is it to repeat or win or come back and, get it together and play great again? I mean, hats off to them for doing it. Maybe a while before we see another Stanley Cup here, and then, you never know. We might find some players that surprise us and really step up next year, which is what I'm kind of hoping for. But, it's pretty tough. That's why it's the greatest fight in any sport, and that is the month of playoffs leading up to the Stanley Cup. Nothing better than that. So, anyway, who do you like for the Stanley Cup now?
Oh, I don't really.
All right, well, I got to ask this question because we keep talking about this.
I don't have the dog in the fight.
Do we even know where the Stanley Cup finals are going to be held? How is Canada going to participate in this? Do we have an answer to that? Is anybody out there watching right now, can you tell us how this is going to play out? What's going to happen? Is Canada going to come to the United States to play, or are they going to play 2 separate Stanley Cups? I mean, you got 4 divisions in the United States playing, so they can keep playing, no problem. But at some point, somebody's got to cross the border. Oh, we got 3 divisions. My bad.
3 divisions
the fourth
in the U.S.
The fourth is Canada. But somebody's going to have to cross the border.
Yeah, but Scott, they waived all the quarantine stuff for the NHL players that were getting traded across the border. So I don't see why they wouldn't allow that to keep going. They've allowed the teams and the players to police themselves. There's been some outbreaks and stuff like that, but I don't see why they'd really change that. The only thing I can think of that they might want to do is have it on a neutral site that they're gathered together. And
a bubble could be the potential, but the question is, wouldn't they announce it by now? Don't they have a location, or wouldn't they even talk about it? I mean, I would personally think it's probably got to be somewhere maybe like Dallas. I think Dallas would be a good possibility. Dallas is wide open. They've got a lot of hockey down there. That could be a spot.
I would think it's probably, in my opinion, that'd probably be someplace in Canada, because that's where a lot of the NHL people are located. It's where their home, the home offices are up in Toronto.
Yeah.
So, it takes a village to put together the NHL.
Well, maybe this is the way to have a Stanley Cup in Toronto, because Toronto's never going to get to the Stanley Cup at the rate they're going. So they could actually still have a Stanley Cup. It'd be very high price. It'd be very hard to get a ticket. But they just started letting people in their building. I think Toronto, if I'm not mistaken, didn't have anybody, but they're now letting the Montreal Canadiens can have 2,500 people. So that's why I'm not sure that they would do the bubble in Canada. I know everybody's up there, but
I get you.
That's the only reason. I don't know. Be interesting to see.
I'm not sure on what they're going to do. And like I have said, I've looked for it multiple times, and I haven't been able to find it. I was looking around for it last night. And it's covered what they're going to do in this first 2 rounds. That's fairly simple. But, now it's like, okay, you're right. Canadian teams.
Yeah. So if you guys, if anybody out there watching has any ideas, a suggestion, put it in the comments. We'd love to hear, because we've been racking our brains for months trying to figure this out, and nobody ever has any answers for us. So I don't know about this one. Anyway.
They'll get it played.
Yeah.
No matter what.
We had a number of questions come in this week, and this is kind of cool. You guys have been sending me questions, texting, emailing. Email Brad, RefRoomBrad at gmail.com.
You know what? For once it all went to you for this week.
No, I know.
This week it all went to you.
It's funny. So we had a couple of our friends send in some questions. So I wanted to actually cover a couple of these, because they were actually pretty good questions. And there's something that I want to talk about with regard to the next set of questions that I'm going to get to. And I'm not going to say who sent these in. I don't know if they want people to know who sent them in or not. But let me pull these up, because they were good questions. And I think it's something that we all may think we know, but we may not actually know, at least the full rule to this. And so I'm going to start with the first one. And it says, all right, here we go. If a player has a penalty shot and gets tripped by the goalie on the penalty shot and doesn't score, what is the call? So you have a penalty shot already, or a shootout, whatever the case may be. But it was supposed to be a penalty shot. And the player comes in, the goalie trips the player. So I'm guessing based on that, the player did not score, obviously. So since he didn't score, what is the call? So let's talk about it. What do you guys think? In the comments, what do you think happens? Put it in the comments.
This is actually a good question, because in all my years officiating, I know the rule. I've been lucky enough to only have to have like one reshot, and it wasn't for this situation, but this situation takes it a step further. I've had it where the goalies come out of the crease.
They left
the players
prematurely.
Touch the puck.
Right.
Correct. And let's cover that real quick while we're waiting on see if somebody has it. So.
You should be giving some instructions to the players before they shoot. Okay, so the player that's going to be shooting, we're going to tell him he gets one shot only. He's going to keep the puck moving forward, no rebounds, and he's going to go on the whistle from the referee that's down low. He's going to start the shot for him. For the goalie,
correct. And
you're going to tell the goalie you can't leave the crease before the player touches the puck. Again, the player is going to go on the whistle from the referee down below, and usually the referee will check with the goalie to make sure he's ready before you blow that whistle. And you're also going to tell him, the player only gets one shot, no rebounds. He's got to keep the puck moving forward. So that's pretty much what you want to give your player and your goalie as far as information goes before they start. All right. So now we've got the scenario that's taking place. So a player comes in and he gets tripped by the goalie.
Scott.
Oh, what?
Back up. Stop rambling. All right. So you have the situation of goaltender leaves the crease prematurely before the player touches the puck. Okay. That situation, you allow the shot to continue, because if he scores, It's over. It doesn't matter. But if he doesn't score, you have to have a reshot. So make sure, when you're talking to that goalie, say, don't make him do this again after you save it. Okay. Just let him come touch the puck and let's go. Yeah. Now we can move on to once they legally ascertain the puck, the goalie comes out of his crease if he feels like it. You're not going to have a reshot situation at that point. Now go with it, Scott.
Okay. All right. So he comes in and the goalie basically trips him. He can't get the shot off. What are we going to do in this situation? Well, there's a penalty involved here. So you're going to be assessing a penalty to the goaltender for tripping. So what happens? Does that penalty go away? It's just a reshot? Or is there a penalty assessed in addition to the reshot? Well, the answer is this. First of all, the player is going to get to reshoot. He's going to get a reshot. Yep. And you're going to assess a penalty to the goalkeeper for tripping. And so you're going to need somebody to serve that penalty, and it's going to be served. Whether that guy scores or not, there is another penalty that's involved here. And I think that's part that a lot of people would miss. You know that there's going to be a reshot probably in that case because the guy never got his scoring opportunity. He was denied it. But there is also an additional penalty. So the player is going to come and reshoot. And whether he scores or not, you're going to put somebody in the box. And in this situation, you don't have anybody on the ice. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say we got to put somebody in the box. It wouldn't be somebody that was on the ice at the time of the infraction because the only person on the ice is the goalie. So you're going to go to the bench and get...
Let's point that out. There shouldn't be anyone on the ice. During a penalty shot, shootout, you should have all the players... inside the bench. Don't have them sitting on the boards.
Right.
You see that
like you do at a shootout in a men's league game. You see everybody standing over there or on the boards. The other thing is you don't need to have the other goalie go to the bench. The other goalie can stay on the ice.
They're supposed to stay in their net.
Yeah. So I'm just saying we're not taking everybody off. The goalie's going to stay there, but all the players need to get on the bench. So that's the deal. So. And then you'd have your penalty to assess after that. Now, after I answered that question, I came back with a rule reference to this. He came back to me with another question. And let me see if I can get to this one now. Okay, and he says, one more. He goes, what if the shooter in a shootout makes a move and gets below the goal line and throws the puck back in front of the net, hits the goalie in the back of the leg, and goes in? Assuming it's a good goal. Well, so we've got a situation, it sounds like it could be almost a setup for the Michigan, which it's not.
It sounds, Scott, the question to me sounds like they're going to come down, let's say on the right side of the net. They're going to curve below the goal line, and they're going to come back out of the corner and and as they're coming by, shoot it, and it goes off the goalie's back and into the net. That's what it sounds like to me that he's asking.
Could very well be too. But the bottom line is once the puck crosses the goal line, the shot is over. You're done. So the puck has to be moving forward. Once it crosses the goal line, anywhere, the shot is complete. And now let's talk about this because let's say the player takes a shot and let's say he hits the post or they hit the post and the puck comes off the post and hits the goalie in the back of the leg and now goes into the net. Do you have a good goal? Let's poll everybody. What do you think? Do we have a good goal in that situation or is it no goal? The player has shot the puck. It's hit the post. It's come back out, ricocheted off the goalie, and now it's gone into the net. Do we have a good goal? Yes or no?
Scott, as you point this out and we poll here, that this is the importance of kind of having ice water in your veins sometimes as a referee, because every once in a while you'll see a referee that this exact situation will happen and they don't wait for the puck to stop and they wave it off and then it goes in the net. So you gotta wait for that puck to stop before you decide to start waving or pointing a goal or whatever you're doing. Make sure that play has been complete, because it's difficult to deal with a coach that you just waved off a goal and a penalty shot, and then it went in the net, and you're like, oh boy, you're going to have a tough conversation.
Got a problem. We get a couple of people that say goal, and yes, they are absolutely right. If that puck is shot and it hits the post and it comes back out and goes off the back of the goalie's leg and goes back in the net, you've got a good goal. So, yes, that is absolutely correct.
And on
Karen,
the other
Karen
situation,
had chimed in. I'm not sure what Karen had chimed in. Let's see. We got Adam. He says, can we bring up the topic of wishing Brad a happy early birthday? When's your birthday, bro? When's your birthday?
Next Tuesday. Adam, happy birthday to you
that's
as
way
well.
too early. Man, that's 6 days away. That doesn't even count yet. Why don't we wish you a happy birthday for next year in advance, too? I mean, you're so far out.
Sure.
Happy birthday.
Yeah,
I don't even know. Do you want to tell everybody how old you are?
38.
How old are you? How old?
I'll be 38.
You'd be 38. Getting
I'll
up
be
there,
38,
buddy.
and this will be my
Getting up there.
23rd year of
Going to
officiating.
be moving down to the Pee Wee games pretty soon at that age. Won't be able
I'm
to
gonna
do
have
those
to start-
U18 games.
Start checking myself out of the nursing home. I know that's your weekly hobby, right, Scott?
Yeah, absolutely. But it's before the next show. Yes, that's right. So thanks for bringing that up, Adam. Remind us next week. Maybe we'll do something nice for Brad's post-birthday on Wednesday. All right, Karen says, response from an owner of a junior team in Canada. I think Canadian teams are going south from my understanding. I could see them using NHL rinks that teams aren't in the playoffs maybe. Okay, that's interesting.
Like a neutral site.
So that means the Canadian teams are being allowed to leave Canada, and that means the U.S. is probably allowing them into the U.S. I don't know what the deal is, but that's what I would think. I would think that the Canadian teams are going to end up coming here for the Stanley Cup final. That's my guess. I'm always wrong anyway, but I could be wrong on this one. I just think that's the case because you got more teams here.
But you only got one team coming.
Well, that's true, but I don't know. Are they going to come out for the? Are they going to come out for the semis, or is it only going to be for the finals? I don't know how this crosses over.
Well, so what happens is the 1, 2, 3, 4, one plays 4, 2 plays 3, and they're in their conference.
Right.
Then after that, those two square off against each other.
Right.
And they're the conference final. You know, they're the winners of the conference.
Right.
So the next round is the semifinals. So you only have one Canadian. You only have one Canadian team left.
Right. Well, wouldn't you have one? Oh, so it's I see, because they're going to go 4 divisions. So Canada stands less of a chance of even getting to the Stanley Cup, basically.
Well,
because they're only. But they're guaranteed somebody's going to get there if they come out. Or not really. To the semi, they'll get to. Yeah.
They'll get. Yeah. So
sense.
like when the NHL, even though they aligned it this season the way they did, but when they realigned a couple years ago to the new playoff format, the reason is they wanted to have more rivalries. So the teams in your conference are always going to play in those first 2 series, and then the winner comes out. So
if you want rivalries, why did we take Detroit out of our division?
Because they're in the Eastern time zone.
I know, but still, it was still one of the best rivalry. 2 original 6 teams. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I get the time zone thing, but still, I just think that would have been, better if they had stayed.
How many original 6 teams are in the Eastern, and how many original 6 are in the Western? Think about that one, Scott.
All right, Max says I think they get reseeded after the semis. See, I didn't even know that. Okay. Well, what do you have? We got Boston in the East. We got Montreal in the East. We got Toronto in the East. We got Chicago in the Central, or whatever you want to call it. We got Detroit in the East. Did I say Detroit?
But the
who am I
Hawks
missing?
They're in the Central, but they're in the West.
Oh, okay.
They're in the Western. The Western. You get what I'm saying? Use the old Eastern.
Who did I
Conference,
forget
Western
of the
Conference.
6? New York.
I didn't hear who
New
you
York
said.
would be the Rangers would have been.
And they're
the
in the
other.
East.
Right. That would have been 6.
So the Blackhawks are the only ones in the West.
In the West. Yep.
So think about that.
Maybe they should move the Blackhawks to the East then. Never know.
I don't think that's going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
Nah,
but
I
anyway.
don't think.
Yeah. All right.
Well, anywho.
Okay, so we got one other that came in here, and let me
well,
see
there
if
was
I can
one
find...
more thing we were going to cover with the penalty shot.
Oh, what was that?
Okay, so player comes down, he shoots it, because this one's been asked before in seminars and all kinds of stuff like that. He shoots it, it goes off the glass behind the goalie, flies back, hits him in the back, and goes in the net. Is it a goal?
Let's poll everybody. What say ye?
So the player shoots it legally from in front of the net, no other issues, misses the net high, goes off the glass, comes back, hits the goalie in the back. It's an easy answer.
I don't see any responses yet. We got to wait. Come on, guys. We got a good goal or not? What do you think? Marty Tong says no goal. I can't get my mouse over there to even acknowledge Marty Tong for that. But yes. Anybody else?
I can't do that from my
no goal?
side.
Anybody else say no goal? Anybody else say we got a good goal? Puck is shot from the correct position, hits the glass, comes back out, goes off the goalie and goes in. Do we have a good goal or not? Only Marty is chiming in on this one. Marty says no goal, and guess what? Marty Tong is correct. And why is that? It's because the puck has actually already crossed the goal line. It's behind the goal line. So when it comes back out, now Max chimes in. He says, Max. "Oh, no goal." Yeah, okay, Max. Thanks for getting that real quickly.
He's probably partially paying attention in school right now.
Right. So is he paying attention to this show or is he paying attention to this math class? I think he already graduated, didn't they? Aren't they already done with school? It's the end of May.
It depends.
So I don't know if he's
on the school.
I don't know if he's done or not. You got one more year left, Max, or are you done? You still got 1 year left in U18s? Max plays for the Leafs. He's a good referee, up and coming superstar, and he's also a really good defenseman. Plays for Central State's Leafs team. If you guys don't know who Max is, you got to get to know him because you're going to work a lot of games with him probably in the future. He's one of our up and coming talented guys. So keep it up, Max.
All right, on to the next question.
Here we go.
There you go.
There goes my phone. See, I don't know who's calling me, but I just muted
Maybe it's somebody to tell us if it was a goal or not.
Yeah, probably, because they couldn't type yes or no. All right, so I sent you the question that came in about too many men on the ice. Now I got to find it because I'm in my phone here, and it's not the easiest to do. But
I can paraphrase it.
Yeah, okay. Let's do that because I actually want to talk about this a little bit. This is something that's been kind of bothering me for a long time, and I've been holding off on this one. But let's go ahead and talk about it. So give me the scenario of the question we had.
Yeah, the paraphrase was Team A has possession and control of the puck legally. Team B has a line change. During the course of the line change, they throw an extra player, so they end up with 6. It's behind the play, completely away from the play, from my understanding in what the question was. Team A doesn't even recognize it. The player skates a couple of strides from the bench, the two. The one realizes it, turns around, jumps back in the bench.
Do you need to bang him for that? That's the question. Do you need to bang him for that? What do you guys say? Let's ask. You think that's a penalty, or do you think you let them play on? Which is it? Penalty or play on? That's what we're looking for. Penalty or play on. Put it in the comments.
Yeah, remember USA Hockey's rule is the player has to be be able to get onto the bench for a line substitution. Yada yada yada. Keep it all in mind. And I like this question. It's a good question to talk about because it does happen in games,
You'll have a guy jump over, like he makes a mistake, he jumps on, he jumps off. Did he get in play? Did he try to play the puck? I'm not going to give away the answer. I'm still waiting. I don't see anybody chiming in on this one. Anybody? Do we have a penalty or play on? All right. Well, see, maybe this is a little confusing for everybody. I don't know, but let's give him the answer. Let's just give him a shot here. And what do you say, Brad?
So I say absolutely not.
Yeah, play on. Play on.
Did they have 6 players on the ice?
It didn't affect anything. It didn't affect play. In most case scenario, it's a quick on and off, like, oh shoot, I shouldn't have jumped. That wasn't my turn, and they jump back.
Right.
Play's not even there. Not an issue. Where it really becomes an issue is when the guy comes off the bench, and you've got a group of players trying to get off, and he jumps right in, and he's got the puck. the second you open the door, he's already got the puck on his stick and he wants to go. That's when the team has gained an advantage. And since they've gained an unfair advantage, that's when you're going to bang them for the too many men on the ice. Or you got to, you have a player that's come off the bench and now he's already like in the middle of the ice. He's doing his thing.
He's 100 feet away.
Looks like a lot of guys out there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that's going to be a penalty too. And
there's a lot of white jerseys.
Here's a tip for you guys. If you're going to make that call, which you are going to make that call, take a look at the clock. If you can, glimpse the clock. 6:42. And when you run over too many men, 6:42. Because guess what? The coach is going to go back and he's going to look at the video. And he's going to want to see where this happened. So if you can give him a little hand by giving him the actual time, it's helpful. They know you saw it. They know. Because, a lot of times if you have a delay on this because they don't have the possession to get the whistle.
Right.
15 or 20 seconds may go by and they may rectify the situation. They may pull the guy over like, no, we only have 5 guys on the ice. Yeah, that's another oxymoron, okay? Because you don't have 5 on the ice. We have 6 on the ice. We have a goalie too, but we never say that. So things that don't make sense in hockey, like being in the paint. Oh, where's paint? Do you get to play with paint? No, it's in the paint. All crazy hockey terms for you guys that don't know about this stuff. All right. But anyway, that's the deal. Oh, Max says he graduated on Saturday. Congratulations. Might have to stick around so I can see Scott and Brad on the weekends doing my games. There you go. Well, guess what? Your season is done. I think the Central States has completed now. So you won't be seeing us doing your game anytime soon until maybe next season. Let's hope.
Senior men's. He can play right away.
Yeah, if you're 18, 19, you should really be 21 to play in the men's league. You know that.
That's only 18.
Yeah, I know, but most teams I played on, they're like, no, you got to be 21 to play on the team. So, just the way it is.
Well, yeah. I mean, I would say that too if I was on your team.
Yeah.
I don't want some 20-year-old.
Absolutely.
I would be like 41.
Well, you'd still be faster than most of us then.
the other thing is with that too many men is that we talked about, Scott, where you got the players are changing. One guy's coming and another guy's waiting for his partner to switch with him, his opposite line mate. And as the player's coming up to the puck or coming up to the bench, the other player kind of like leans over and they kind of like fall out of the bench. I think everybody's either had it happen to them playing or has seen it happen. And as they fall out of the bench, the puck comes over there. Now you got both of them standing there. The one realizes that the other one's on the ice. The other one, so they both freeze and they let the puck go by them. And it just naturally continues down the ice. They have 6 guys on the ice. Both of them freeze. The guy that was coming off gets off, and the other guy goes back into play. You can let that go too. That's not a penalty. I mean, they didn't affect the play.
They did not play the puck. Now, something that can happen here, you could have that same situation, guys, and you may have a puck being iced. So let's say the other team has iced the puck and it goes past that bench and they're changing so they know if they play that puck, they could get banged for too many guys on the ice. Well, what do you do in that situation? You're going to waive that icing because they had the option to play that puck and they chose not to because they know they're going to get a penalty for too many if they do it. So in that situation, waive the icing. And I know, sometimes there's coaches that have their hands up. We've talked about this. And that's usually one of the instances where they probably do have their hand up thinking, I got an icing call here. No, you got your icing waived because if you want to play that puck, you're also going to put a guy in the box for too many men. That's you get a choice there. It's a 50-50.
I have a question for you, Scott.
Uh-oh.
When you have the guy,
I have to give you my questions in advance, so maybe I need to get the question in advance too.
This is not a big question. This is not anything on the spot.
All right.
What with the coach that's putting his arm up in the air? Yeah. Number one, how do you deal with that guy? Because I deal with it. I skate over to him and go.
I deal with it in a couple different ways. I may come over and I may say, hey, I saw you put your hand up a couple times. Did you have a question? Did you want to ask me something? That's one subtle way of getting them to, relax a little bit.
Yeah, I just go over there and I'm like,
I keep seeing you put your hand up. Did you have a question? Did you want to talk to me about something? That's all.
See, I just go over there and go, look, I go, we're going to ref the game. You know, can you stop putting your arm up in the air? It looks kind of weird. You're not reffing.
It's disrespectful, and you have that. In my opinion, I feel it's a little disrespectful. If you really think that the guys can't initiate and complete an icing, and, you know, what level is this? Is this a Might House game, or is this a U18 Central States game?
Well, I don't think we need the help anywhere.
Yeah, I'm just saying. You know, I know we don't, but that doesn't stop them from doing it. A lot of them do this. I don't know why. So that's worked for me. I've gone over a couple times. Just said, "Did you have a question?" Well, you keep putting your hand up.
Yeah, I would get them to stop. You know, that's the interesting one. You know, so I would get them to stop that. It looks horrible. It looks like they're over trumping you or helping out or what.
Yeah,
and they're not, because you're not paying attention to them anyways. But it just looks stupid. So
it's like the parent behind the glass that they're all like this too. For anytime they think there's a penalty, they throw their hand up.
They're the best. They got their binoculars backwards. All the players look really, really small from where they're standing.
That's funny.
Anyways, but yeah, you know, get that stuff to stop. Like, if you can. Be polite about it, though. I do like you got a question, so you're kind of interjecting a little humor in there at the same time. You know, if you happen to be close to an airport.
Yeah, smile. You don't have to, give them a dirty look when you say it. You can be smiling. Right. Hey, did you have a question? I keep seeing you put your hand up.
Well,
they get the message. They understand. They're like, oh, yeah, sorry about that. Usually they'll apologize. Yep. They just can't help themselves. They're excited.
Well, I get it. It's compassion, and I get it. But,
So here's something, since we got to this subject, this is something I've actually wanted to talk about for a couple weeks now. And that is, like, when guys are coming out of the penalty box, a lot of times, the penalty box is on the same side as the benches. So you don't have this problem when you've got a penalty box that's on the opposite side of the benches. The guy comes out of the penalty box, he comes back over to the ice, or he goes out and he plays, whatever the case may be. But when you have the penalty box right next to the bench, a lot of times, oh man, phone's ringing again. Good thing I muted it this time. When you have the player coming out of the penalty box, a lot of times you see that player jump out before that guy's completely out of the penalty box, or trying to gain an advantage going out the back door. Let's say he's going out the back door. The player's coming in the front door, and the player's already going out the back door. So technically, do you have too many men on the ice at that point? Now, we know we can bang somebody if if the clock hasn't expired. If it's 2 seconds left on the clock, the guy comes out of the penalty box early, that's a penalty.
Let's simplify it. All right, Scott? Yeah. Guy's penalty is up on the clock. The time runs out in his penalty. He fell asleep in the penalty box. He's still sitting in the penalty box. His replacement jumps out of his bench.
Yeah, that happens too.
Let's make it super simple.
Yeah, okay? That's real simple.
And then we'll go into the one that's a little more complex.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's clearly too many men on the ice, obviously.
Right, because the player hasn't exited the penalty box.
The guy's still in the penalty box, okay?
So it still stands for the same way to where they're coming out of the bench and the players coming out of the penalty box and all that. They're penalized. So as the guy comes in, from the one door to the other, you're going to let him jump from the bench on a penalty situation. That's fine. It's not like where they take the face off and the guy's real close to the bench. He's, they take a face off. He skates over real quick to the back door and they throw a guy out of the front door, which would be physically impossible, which is, covered in the rule book. You stop.
Yeah.
But anywho, if that player has to exit the box, so if, that time expires and hits 0 and they're struggling to get out the door or whatever the case may be, if his replacement jumps beforehand, that is technically too many players on the ice.
Yeah. But I think you see that a lot. It's just the way it is. You see these guys trying to get that little advantage, that 1 second advantage or whatever. They're just so anxious to come off the bench. They're getting their spot back on the ice. Technically, it would be a penalty.
Right. let's take it up another notch.
It's a tougher one too. Right. A little tougher to enforce because, boy, you start calling that, you're going to be calling it all day long, I have a feeling. Or maybe not. Maybe you'll call it once and nobody will make that mistake again. But until the next game when a coach that hasn't had that penalty called on him does it. Go ahead.
All right, so let's take it another way. Guys in the penalty box, there's only glass on the front of the penalty box. There's a separation of boards between the player bench and the penalty bench. Can that player climb over those boards into the player's bench from the penalty
he's got to touch. He's got to come back on the ice. But you do see that at some, I have seen that before at a couple of plays. Like,
I've seen it.
Let's just say, I guess Wilmette would be a good example where
it has
you
no
can't
separation.
tell. There's no separation whatsoever.
There's a beam.
Winnetka is the same way.
Beam.
Winnetka has no separation either. It's like the penalty bench and it's all combined basically. So, but no, the players know that. I don't see that as a problem. I mean, maybe
I've seen it before.
Yeah, it's been a long time. It's been a long time. I haven't seen that in quite a while. So yeah, the player has to get back on the ice.
I got a good story for you.
We could get real technical too because, technically if the player was coming back on the ice and the puck happens to go right by the penalty box door and he's not out the door yet, he's still in the box, but the puck is conveniently right there as the door is open for him to leave. And he puts his stick down and takes that puck without putting both feet back on the ice, we have a problem there too.
Yeah, he's got one foot on the ice and the other foot still on the penalty box floor.
Yeah, he's got to be 100% on the ice. So
if not, it's interference.
Right.
So
I've seen that before in men's league. It can be entertaining. We'll leave it at that. All right. Got a couple other things I wanted to do today. We've been talking about being consistent out on the ice, and we've talked a lot about the new whistle, which is that Fox call. I don't know if you guys can see it. The Fox call. So a couple things. If you guys haven't gotten one of these yet, we highly recommend this whistle. Does it have a little different tone? It's just really easy to blow. And I mean, when you had to wear a gaiter, this was great because you could actually blow it through a gaiter. Work well, but they're really comfortable. This whistle does not require taping on your fingers. You can see it's like a rubber. You don't need to tape the whistle part, the top part. It's rubber. It's really nice. These are nice. Not only that, they're plastic. So if you're in that really cold rink and that metal whistle is making your hands even colder and they're turning blue, this is a little bit easier on them. These are really loud. These are nice. This is what they're using in the NHL now. So, we're going to put a link in the description. Can you put a link in the description for this? Because if you guys haven't tried one of these, I do recommend it. And, Brad and I have talked about like being consistent with one another on the ice. It'd be nice if one ref is going to use this whistle, if the other refs were using this whistle so that you can't tell who blew the whistle when you're making that call. Something that you might want to think about. You don't want to sound different from your partner. So sometimes you'll check with your partner and say, hey, are you using a call? Oh, okay, cool. That's what I have. Or maybe you're using a Thunderer. Okay, I'll bring my Thunderer so that we have some consistency out on the ice. It doesn't sound like two different people are doing the game. So I know that's something that Brad is very sensitive about, so I thought I would touch on that subject. And,
I just said I think that it's
yeah, Matt says those whistles make it a lot easier to blow the game. You mean blow the game like screw the game up, or you mean easier to blow? It is. It's much easier. I mean, even if you happen to miss in a hurried situation, getting the whistle up to your mouth as quickly as you'd like, and you blow, you can still pretty much hear that whistle. You can't find it?
I can't find it.
Just go to YouTube, any of our videos on YouTube.
Okay.
And in the show more, there's links in there, and you can grab that link. And while we're doing it, I'm going to show you something else too. I'm going to show you the socks that we really like.
Yeah, you live and die by these. I don't wear socks.
Yeah. Oh, well, I didn't used to wear socks when I was a kid, but I do wear socks now. These are the Howie's socks, and I think Brett is actually the one that turned me on to these. I really like these, and I'm going to tell you why. I brought a pair out that I've actually used so that I could open them up and show it to you. But the beauty of they're nice and high, So, they go all the way up the legs, so the shin pads aren't bothering you. B, they've got some padding, right? This is the part that goes right over like the top of your foot where you get lace bite. So these are actually a little soft in here. They're nice because when you're doing 3 or 4 games, lace bite does become a problem for a lot of us. This takes a little bit of the lace bite away. I know a lot of guys wear the Bunga pad, and those work great as well, but this is all in one. So they're really comfortable, and they wick the sweat away, so your feet don't get as cold out there, especially in the cold buildings that we have. So I really like those, and I wanted to put those links in. I actually have them. If you go on Facebook right now, you could copy them and grab them. They should be on Facebook. You can't find them anywhere? Okay.
Nope.
All right, let me see if I can. I gotta go.
You can put it on the video afterwards.
Yeah, I'll post them afterwards. I'll post the links
if I could find them, I would.
Yeah, but these are 2 things that I think you guys would really like. So we don't try to sell you anything that we don't feel is really special. I think these are 2 really great products. So I wanted to share these with you guys if you haven't tried them yet. Okay, so that being said, I can't believe the season's already winding down. I mean,
I know. You know what?
It went fast.
The good thing is the season's winding down, but we crammed a lot of hockey into a much shorter period of time.
We did.
So there's one thing I want to just say real quick, and then we'll cover the mental fatigue factor that you and me were talking about the other day.
Yeah.
Just so everybody knows, USA Hockey is currently in the process of gathering summer camp applications, which they've already gathered. I believe all of those. They've already gotten all that stuff in, and they're reviewing them. So good luck to anybody that put in for a summer camp through USA Hockey. And then just when you go work your ass off, let's put it that way, and enjoy the experience.
When you get up in the morning and you run for miles and days, you enjoy that.
And skate, and then you're in the classroom. Well, just it's a long weekend. You'll get a lot of information. Well, long week.
It's a great opportunity. It really is.
And enjoy the experience because, that's the one thing when I went, I don't think I enjoyed it as much as I probably should have and taken it all in. But just enjoy it because you're going to talk to a lot of these people maybe years later. So, and they're still going to be friends and you're going to make friends throughout the country. Right. So enjoy that part of it. Now, on to the mental fatigue part that we were discussing. So, I think
before we get to the mental fatigue part, can we just put one thing up, and that is the golf outing? I don't want to forget to put this up, guys.
Outing.
Yeah, let's just do this real quick before we cover the main subject we wanted to get to. Friday, July 23rd, Bloomingdale Golf Club. If you haven't done this with us, it's a lot of fun. It's a scramble, 8 o'clock shotgun. Great day, great camaraderie. Lots of fun, lots of joking around and a good time. And we get away from hockey and we can just be ourselves and have some fun for the day. And, we'd love to have all of you come out and join us. So Brad and I kind of got talked into sponsoring this, I guess. I guess we're now the sponsors, but this is something that Jack had put together before. It's a great event, absolute great event. Had so much fun. I hope you guys will come out and join. And of course, we're going to remember our good friend Mark Gore, one of our officials that passed earlier this year. And let's make a great day out of it. So if you haven't done it, I believe the cost is $45. And that's $55 for the golf and the cart. And then there's another $10. There's like $10. So it's $55 total. And now, do they have to get the payments in? What's the deal on this, Brad? What are we doing as far as this?
All right. So there's been several emails this morning about this and several yesterday. So right now, the golf outing is set, okay? So you can contact me at refroombrad@gmail.com. Or if you have my cell phone number, you can text me. Or you can email me at my personal. Or you can email Jack Raslowski. Or you can email Scott. I prefer you email Scott.
I'm sure you do. But I'm happy to do it.
Right now, there is a Google Forms that's been put together for people to register. We're getting this info out right now. We're going to keep talking. I believe we're going to collect payment beforehand. It's $55 per golfer. I think we're going to collect it either, probably in multiple ways. We can probably Zelle it, Venmo it, and
PayPal,
we'll get
whatever.
it all together.
We'll figure it out. We'll get you the information on that. So just hang tight, but save the date. Plan the date already, okay? July 23rd. Right. It's going to be a lot of fun. And you come out and join us, and I think we're going to have. Do we have some adult beverages after that planned? I'm sure.
We will.
I would hope.
The patio will be open.
The patio will be open. There you go. I like that. The patio will be open, okay? So that'll be for fellowship afterwards. The patio will be open.
Well, and we signed a contract, Scott, and we have to have 60 golfers.
Oh, so we need 60 players.
We need 60
players. Yeah, and we will take coaches and players, won't we, or fans? You don't have to be a referee. See?
Yep.
So you can come golf with your favorite referees. You can be a coach. You can be a player. You can be a fan. We'd love to have you out there. So we need 60 people.
Amazing, Scott. Last year when we did this, because we gave Mark Gore, IHOA put together the Mark Gore Service Award, which if people don't know who Mark was the guy the second you walked in the locker room had the biggest smile on his face, because Mark always got there early. I don't know if a lot of people don't know that. He'd get there about 45 minutes to an hour early before the game. Well, anytime I was reffing with Mark and I wasn't coming from another game or something, I would always make sure that I would get there so that I could talk with Mark and just hang out, because Mark was a great guy. He always wanted to talk about hockey. He was a coach who turned into a referee and enjoyed our referee community more than all the years he had coaching, even though he loved that too.
Yeah.
But he did a lot. He helped us out with seminars. He helped out with mentoring referees on the ice. He would help us out any way that he could, and he's an overall nice guy on top of it. So when everyone heard that he decided to discontinue his treatment, that was a hard thing to swallow, but he decided to choose quality of life at the end over trying to extend it a little bit longer. And he spent it with his family. He spent it traveling, and he spent the one day with us. And that was a day that was a lot harder for a lot of us, because unfortunately that was, the last time that we got to see Mark. And I'll never forget him. He gave us all big old hugs, and it was a really tough feeling, but a good feeling as well. And I can feel it right now. So just so everybody knows, Mark was a great guy. Jack and us, we kind of got together and put together the referee sweater for him. And there's a gorgeous award, and that's going to live on. It's going to be awarded to another official that's deserving, that had Mark's characteristics and does things for our community that go above and beyond. So it's going to live on. And actually, AHI just put out an article about it, written by our friend Ross Foreman.
Oh,
so
nice.
I sent it to Scott right before this.
I haven't had a chance to open it yet, because we were on the air when I got it. But
yeah, well, we were I literally just got it too. Yeah. So, it's a good event, but on with the show.
Yeah, and we always do a lot of things that are charity-oriented with the referee community. And so another thing that's coming up, too, I'm sure you guys got an email. Hopefully you got an email. And that is the hearing impaired have their games coming up, I think at Bensonville this year. That's coming up over mid-June, I believe.
I think it was June 4th through the 7th.
I'm not sure. I don't want to give the wrong dates. But, if you haven't done that, guys, it's a blast. So let me tell you, they have on there their JV and their high school games. Those guys are all college, played practically semi-professional hockey. They're really good players, very nice guys. They're awesome. Go out, donate some time if you can, and have a great skate, because you'll really enjoy it. And the players are great. It's a great atmosphere, and it's a lot of fun. So if you haven't had a chance to get some games off that, try to get a couple of those in and help out. Everybody appreciates that, and it's for a good cause. So, as a matter of fact, I think the gentleman that started that organization, Les Tannenbach, if I'm not mistaken, was the guy that started that foundation. His son was a goalie, Lex. Did I say Lex? No, Mr. Tannenbaum. I forget. I don't remember what his name was, because he was a parent. But his son was I think I was a peewee. His son was a bantam. His son was a bantam goalie like I was, but I was a peewee. Both played for the Minor Hawks. Lex was a great guy, and that was his dad that's tried to keep this going for many, many years. So has a little extra special meaning for me because I certainly remember Lex and his dad for that matter. So very cool. Anyway, take some games, guys, if you can. All right, now we're going to get to the mental aspect of the game as we are all tired and worn out from a short but strong, long hockey season. And I don't know about you, but, my body starts to feel it after we've been out there for a while, and I think my head starts to feel it as well. So I'm still trying to recover from that game. I got my shoulder damaged and took the puck off the wrist. I could still feel it. And that was like the day before Easter. So I'm still hurting from that game.
Yeah. Luckily, I'm all healed up.
Are you all healed up now? You were all bandaged up there for a while. You had a pretty good one on your arm.
Yeah, my hand was black and blue from my knuckles up to like my mid wrist from one that caught me. No break. I got it x-rayed. But mine, the thing that weighs on me at this time of the year, which would normally be around the end of January, we would be having this with playoffs and everything getting ready to come around. The tough part is, hey, Scott, you're gone.
Yeah, I know. You wish. There you go.
The tough part is sometimes once you start getting to the rink and it's starting to get wearing, try to be positive. I'm definitely an offender of it sometimes as I'm putting my stuff on. I'm like, I can't believe this. Like, once I'm dressed, though, I'm fine. But, try to be positive because let's say you're
you just want to get through it
game.
sometimes. It's like, I think I got 3 JV games on Friday or Saturday night, something like that. The last JV games of the season. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
But I know the season's ending. So.
Well, the one thing is, Scott, the reason I'm pointing this out is let's say you're refereeing with a partner that you don't know. All right. And you're sitting there complaining about it. It's their first season refereeing. They're like
still excited.
25th game. They're super excited.
That's right.
Try not to ruin their day.
Don't step on or stomp on their parade at that point. Yeah. They're still excited to be there. So
remember,
I'm still excited to be there too, because, you never know when you're going to be doing your last game. Okay. You just never know.
No, that's true.
I'm happy, had a great season, enjoyed it. Thank you for all the games. Thank you for all the opportunities to be out there and enjoy the game that I love so much. I don't know what I would do without it. I'd be sitting on the couch. I'd be 350 pounds. And, this game has kept me in shape, keeps me feeling good. And I've loved this game since I was a little kid. And, I'm grateful for that. I got to be honest. I played a lot of men's league. But, at some point, I let the men's league go and got into the refereeing thing. Really love it. Sorry I didn't do it earlier. For you guys that are young guys, you can have a lot of great opportunities if you enjoy this and you take it seriously and enjoy it. It's fun. You're going to look back. These are going to be some of the best times of your life.
Well, you're going to make a lot of friends.
Yeah.
You're going to have friends that you wouldn't even think that you would make.
Yeah, look at Brad and I. I never would have met Brad. And, Brad and I met a few times in the locker room. We've just chit-chatted and BS together for at a handful of games that we worked. And when I wanted to do this, I know exactly who I'm going to call, see if he wants to do this, because Brad's got the gift of gab. He's got the gift of gab.
I try. All right, sometimes it doesn't go well, and I stick my foot in my mouth. But I think everybody does that every once in a while.
There's a lot of guys that when you're in the locker room, they're going to be a lot of fun. They're cool to hang out with. They're fun to talk to, and there's lots of good stories and. That just makes it fun. That's what you had when you were playing. If you didn't have a locker room that was fun with guys that you enjoyed hanging out with and talking, that team wasn't going to be doing very well, and you probably wouldn't want to stay there very long because why show up every day to something that's not enjoyable? So,
that's how. And Scott, it's an excellent point you made. That's how I try to battle that mental fatigue. When I start getting tired, I start cracking jokes. Or tell you a story that it'll bring me back to a situation that I had that, I remember vividly, and it gets me more excited to go back out on the ice every game. So that's kind of a little trick that I use because some guys sit and read rules. Right. I love it. I love the idea.
That's for the beginning of the season. You read the rules because you got to take the test soon. You got to study. So I think we all kind of hit the rule book a little bit harder at the beginning of the year when we come back after the break, because some of us have already probably taken a test, but a lot of us are still studying or finishing up or doing our module, whatever they have to do. So I think we get more discussion about that probably earlier in the season. And watch when we come back. Watch the questions we get when that all opens up again. Okay, a lot of guys that stepped away for a year are going to come back. They don't remember everything like they used to. So guess where they're going to come. We're going to get some of those questions. So it'll be fun.
Rule change year coming up.
And we continue, guys. We will continue to do this every Wednesday. So the season's slowing down, but it's not ending for us. And we've still got lots of men's league. Hopefully those 400 teams that are missing reappear. So there's lots of games out there, but we'll still keep going. I know there's tournaments, there's showcases coming through the summer. It's a couple months. It goes very fast. And it is a rule change year, and that gets voted on what in late June or
it's coming up. It's coming up fast.
Yeah, it's coming real fast.
It'll come up, and we'll be very lucky. We'll have probably some info.
Yeah.
Coming up on what they're going to be doing. I saw some emails flying around, so
we'll talk about some of the things that are up for discussion, and I'm sure we'll talk about when it happens. We're definitely going to talk about it because it will affect all of us. And as Brad's mentioned before, rule changes are made as a community, so it's something that a lot of people want to have done if those rules are being changed. So, every 4 years.
Right. The whole community. Remember, you don't have to even ever have played hockey. You can put in a rule suggestion.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing?
And it goes through rules committee, and then it gets voted on there, and then it gets sent back out to the membership to vote. And, each member of the COG, all the affiliates and everything, it gets to be very big when you really look at it.
The who's who of the hockey community.
But when a rule changes, it's been kicked around for a long time before it officially becomes a rule. So
look at the 9-dot change that we had. Like, was that 4 years ago? We had the 9-dot change.
That was 4 years ago.
4 years ago. That was talked about since forever, and it finally happened.
Well, yeah, we finally aligned with everybody else. USA, every once in a while, USA is a little behind on it, but it's okay. They like to progress and see how things go. I mean,
I know, broke. It doesn't need to be fixed, right?
The game is always changing, though. So
that's true.
The one thing is, I know a lot of people don't like where they can't ice the puck, killing a penalty.
Yeah, but guess what?
I know that it had.
That's up.
A lot of
that's
success.
Up for discussion now, and it's gotten past the point where it's going to get voted on whether that you will be allowed to ice the puck when you are shorthanded, even as high as the men's league level.
Yep, it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, so I mean that would be a big change. Guys have played their entire life with being able to ice the puck on a penalty, and suddenly they're not going to be able to do that. Possibly, it's going to be voted on. Or will it just be for youth hockey? We don't know, but it's cleared the path to be voted on for both.
Well, I know we looked at it in that
very early
meeting.
Very early.
One that we had a while ago.
The rule changes proposed were this thick.
Well, that was what went to Florida, and then it came out of there. But that was what came out. And I think the men's league they kicked it back to the adults. So I don't think that one's going to get voted on, but I think all of youth, it's going to get voted on.
Yeah.
So,
and I think, one that makes a little bit of sense to me, or a lot of sense, actually, I think they talked about the stick above the shoulder rule, where that would go all the way down, has always gone all the way down, that may just go back a zone now.
So that was one, and then the other one that we talked about was where if you commit a penalty, it's going to go back into your defensive zone. And we brought up the high stick of, well, it doesn't really make any sense that if you high stick the puck out of play in the offensive zone, it goes all the way in your defensive zone. But yet, if you high stick a player in the face, It just comes outside.
You take
the
his
zone.
eyeball out, and all it's doing is moving back a zone here. But boy, you stick above the shoulder, and now it's going all the way down. So, yeah, that's probably one. That's probably one I think that might pass. I think that might align.
I think you have an excellent chance of that passing.
The stars may align on that one, and that'll be the case. Yeah, we'll just throw it out there. There's some other good ones, so we'll have a little. Maybe we should do a little review session on a few of them that are up for the vote, and then see what happens. We'll let everybody vote on them here. We'll poll them and find out what they'd like to see.
Yeah. We can try it.
Wasn't delayed offsides also on the agenda?
Yeah, I
taking
think
delayed offsides off the table.
A lot.
Yeah, I think that's another one that would affect all of us a lot, because I think most referees do like delayed offsides, but that's up. That's another one that's going to be looked at. So,
all right,
we'll see what happens.
The hour is up.
The
Scott.
hour has come and gone, as it always does. All right. So thank you all for joining us. We appreciate you taking the time on a Wednesday to spend it with us at noon. If you love the show and you'd like to help support the channel, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/refroom, and you could buy either one of us a coffee, or you can buy both of us coffee. And I know a lot of you guys think we should change that to buy us a beer or buy us pizza, and we can do that. But in the meantime, buymeacoffee.com/refroom if you want to support the show. Max says, thanks, fellas. Yep. Thank you for checking us out, Max. Always good to see you. And everybody else that chimed in, we appreciate it. And that's going to do it. So with that being said,
join Scott Smokin, Silz, and Brad Baumruck every Wednesday for Ref Room.
It's hockey talk for referees, coaches, players, and fans.
Join in the fun every Wednesday at noon. You can check out the replays on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. That's the Ref Room every Wednesday with Scott and Brad. Two guys that love to talk hockey.
That is so true. All right. You have a great week. Thanks for joining us, everybody.